Welcome everybody to the Hoops Post Up. Today we are talking fantasy, NBA fantasy sleepers.
That's right. The Fantasy 5 is back again. And this time, stat sleepers. Not getting fancy today, no advanced stats. We're just going to dive into some per 36 averages and try to find you some players that might help you out in some of the major categories. Not a lot of you guys play Roto, and so you need some help in certain categories. We're going to look and try to find some guys who are on the rise and or maybe you didn't notice quite how helpful they could be.
All right, everyone. So before we get started, if you are new to our channel, thank you for watching and welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you have been seeing us for a little while. Thank you so much for those of you who have followed us this far.
That's right. Fantasy 5 always here to help you win your fantasy league. So let's get into it with some stat sleepers.
All right. So first up, let's take a look. First up, we have Jordan Clarkson from Utah. All right. So we're looking at per 36 for these sleepers, and we noticed something important.
That's right off the bat. Talk about points. That's Clarkson's thing. Okay, Utah by way of Cleveland. And the concern here was that a lot of people thought, well, of course he's going to get a lot of touches in Cleveland because, I mean, who else do they have? And outside of Kevin Love, who's probably about to get traded, which shameless plug. Check out our Trade Machine episode on Kevin Love that just came out. But anyways, going to a supposed contender like Utah, people thought shots would go down, his usage would go down. There's no way he's going to score as much, right? Thought he's going to be more of a role player, a guy who's going to come off and give him a spark off the bench. But guess what? He's still shooting just as much. He's still scoring just as much. And if anything, looks like he's going to be looking for a shot more and more because very first game out, right, you kind of played it soft, kind of
took it easy on the opponent.
Yeah.
Didn't want to show them up too much.
Now he's firing away. It's the same old Jordan Clarkson we know and love. So just because he's on a new team, if anything, might help him because he might get more opportunities.
Feeling a little freedom, letting it fly. All right, so let's take a look at his per 36. So he's got 22.5 points per 36. That's a little beast mode right there. Then he's got almost 4 rebounds and 3.5 assists. Not bad.
And you'll notice I put at the end here in parentheses, we have how many minutes they actually play because we know per 36 stats can be misleading. You got it comes in, 5 minutes at the end of the game of a blowout and he, scores a couple of buckets, right? He's a couple of threes. He's scored 6 points. And all of a sudden he's averaging, 90 points a game. Okay, so you always have to take it a little bit with a grain of salt, but I'm trying to show you how much run these guys are actually getting because if they're playing enough minutes that their average might be sort of close to their per 36, that's going to help you, right? So again, keep in mind that these numbers are not per game.
But these particular results that we're talking about for Clarkson is 23 minutes.
Yeah, so he's getting a good amount of playing time. He's going to continue to get a good amount of playing time, filling that role off the bench. The problem with Clarkson, again, mainly a scorer. If you need a boost in scoring, he's your guy. No, he's not getting you a ton of stats elsewhere. Really, rebounds, assists per 36. That's not a whole lot.
Sometimes that's all you need.
But sometimes that's it. Again, guy who's going to help you in one category, and he can hit the 3. So if you're looking for points, don't shy away from Clarkson. Only 30% owned.
Nice. He's available, so take a look for him. All right, so up next we have Enes Kanter from Boston. He is actually 66% owned.
So with Kanter, obviously the issue there has been playing time. Thought, he's a guy he, kind of injured to start the season. They're going to try to keep him fresh for the playoffs unless they do trade for a guy like Kevin Love. I'm not assuming that's going to happen, but Kanter might have to be the answer at center for Boston. If that's the case, as the season goes on, he's going to get ramped up in minutes more and more. And you know what? If you noticed, he doesn't need a lot of minutes to rebound, right? This guy's already averaging double-digit rebounds practically. just in the minutes that he's playing.
Right. So let's take a look at his numbers here. We have 6 rebounds, offensive rebounds.
Offensive rebound. Now, again,
rebounds.
if you're in a league where rebounds count separately for offensive and defensive, this is definitely a priority. I mean, if he's still available, it probably isn't if you are in a league like that. But it's possible because he's been dropped a few places.
All right. And that's only based on performing roughly 18 minutes per game.
Not too much, really. But again, if you look at his rebound totals, he's pulling down double-digit boards even in games where he's getting barely 20 minutes. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on him and pick him up if you can.
Yeah, definitely. I think don't be scared.
All right. Very good. So next we have Tomas Satoransky.
That's right. And about the same ownership there, 2/3 owned, let's say, roughly. The appeal here is for assists. Now you look at 6.6 assists per 36. That doesn't seem overly impressive either. But if you consider the fact that as of right now in the NBA, there's only 22 guys who are averaging more than 6 assists per game. This is a different era, right? We've talked about it's the era of isolation ball. Assists, a lot harder to come by these days. So Satoransky, a guy who's averaging a pretty fair amount of assists, and he's getting enough playing time where you can count, look at that, 29 minutes per game almost. So his per 36 averages in this case are pretty close to his per game averages.
Right. And so when you're looking at this and you're needing something to boost your fantasy team, almost 7 assists with just that small amount of playing time, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive.
And a little bonus here, he'll get you some steals here and there. He's not shooting too bad from the 3-point line. Close to a double-digit point per game average, so not going to really kill you anywhere else. But definitely, I mean, if you're in a league looking for an assist boost, he's a guy to pick up.
Excellent. Very good. Nice job. Okay, we have Mo Bamba.
I mean, is he really a sleeper? Is there anybody who doesn't know Mo Bamba by now?
We all know Mo Bamba.
Stat sleeper, though, keep in mind. Okay, so here's the obvious reason why is Mo Bamba even on this list. We know he can block shots. Like, we already knew that coming in. Jonathan Isaac, you probably heard, out. Going to be out at least, I think, what did they say, at least 8 weeks? Another injury, sad, kind of a young budding player here, Jonathan Isaac. So out at least 8 weeks. I mean, worst case scenario, he gets surgery, could be 4 to 6 months, is what I saw. So this is a guy that was kind of the cornerstone of this front court. Mo Bamba going to take his place.
And let me tell you, he's available. He's only 7% owned, so go grab him if you're needing some blocks.
Now, look at the fact that so far 15 minutes per game, so I mean, so not even half of 36.
No, but you know what? He'll get that playing time now for sure, and his numbers are likely to go up.
I mean, his playing time is not going to double or anything, but here's the other thing. Remember, we did talk about Mo Bamba. I think it was the DeRozan, right? One of the trade machines.
Yes.
Bamba could be on the move. I mean, do you feel like, because Orlando's kind of one of those in-between teams, right? They're kind of on the bubble, like they maybe will get the 8th spot in the East. Maybe not now that Isaac's hurt. I mean, does a trade, if Bamba gets moved out of Orlando, which I don't think he will now, maybe that even helps his value more?
I think it would, for sure, because he's going to get more playing time. Maybe he finds the right fit for him. Obviously, if they're trading for him, they want to use him for a specific reason. So
right, that's the way I see it. A team that needs a big man, and they're going to fit him in there. It's possible, but we'll see.
All right. So up next, we have DeAnthony Melton.
Now, you might be afraid of the Grizzlies for fantasy outside of John Moran. I don't blame you. Maybe Valanciunas. But, so the other point guard in Memphis, actually, they got a couple of...
They have a few.
Yeah, they have a few. Him and Tyus Jones. But Melton is a guy who's really come on. And, okay, we're talking about stat sleepers here. The specific stat, as you saw, was steals. And steals are always hard to come by.
Right.
So that's really the selling point here. But look at that line again. Pretty well-rounded, right? Wouldn't you say?
It's not bad. 16 points, right? And averaging around 17 minutes per game. I mean, that's not bad for per 36. He's got 16 points, 8 rebounds. Pretty good all around.
And 6 assists. And that's pretty, yeah, that's pretty good because, again, he can help you in multiple categories. Now, obviously, the playing time is going to be limited unless Morant is hurt. If Morant does get hurt, God forbid.
No, we wouldn't want that.
But I'm just saying, his back was kind of bothering him. And yeah, so this is definitely a nice stash, right? This is definitely a guy, not that you would really want to stash too much in fantasy basketball, but just saying. This is a guy who, with the opportunity, could really fill up the stat sheet. So, and he's been giving the Grizzlies a spark off the bench. But specifically, if you're going for steals, definitely someone to target.
Excellent. All right. So this is our Fantasy 5 sleepers for this week. Don't forget to tune in to our other fantasy sports videos. We have them. We'll link them in the end.
That's right. We alternate, this week's sleepers. Next week, catch some risers and fallers. Talk about some people you should be adding or dropping, possibly buying or selling low and high off the trade market.
Please know our channel, we're here for you. So we talk everything NBA, right?
Everything. Catch our trade machine episodes. The trade market is buzzing in the NBA.
We talk fashion, we play NBA 2K.
Yeah, that's right. Anything NBA related, we're here for you. Give us a comment, and of course, hit us up with follow on all forms of social media, and we'll follow you back.
Absolutely. Peace and love.
Peace out.